And attempt number 4 because some Wally decided to record them in the wrong format. And I don't have the software at the moment to convert them. So we're just going to re-record this. Welcome to another video, ladies and gents. We are going to be looking at Saiyan Auras today. They come in spiky, they come curved, they come transparent, and in some of them they come flaming. Look at you, Super Saiyan God. The only one looks like he's on fire. Well, any of them look on fire. So yeah, all the only tools I've got access to are alcohol markers. So for this one, I am going to be learning how to blend, as you guys can see here, very quickly. I am going through this as quick as I possibly can. This took me all day, to be fair. Teach myself how to blend and create Saiyan Aura, from Super Saiyans 1, from Super Saiyan 2 to Ultra to God, to Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. What a mouthful that one is. Now, the God ones are a bit more out there. I say Super Saiyan God, Red, Fire, pretty easy to you know, maybe replicate, because you know you don't need a transparent background for that. Whereas Super Saiyan 1, Ultra, 2 and 3, majority of the time they have a transparent feel to them, so you can see the background behind them. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to recreate the aura in, you know, some kind of style. I'm failing miserably, as you can see. I've had to put these videos side by side, because otherwise this would be an even longer video than what I really wanted to. I'm trying to use the blender tool here on the right, so I try and get some kind of fade, and on the left here I'm just sort of using flick brushes. This almost looks like hair at this point, doesn't it? Whilst also trying to blend it as well. I'm just sticking with 2 colors here. These are the Ohuhu brush pens I am using, and writing all over these just so I know where to try and fix it. Now I did sort of try and add the gel pens to this. Wanted to try and do, I've added, as you can see, I've added the Sharpie and the gel pen to this one here, just to see how it would look. See if you can get away with creating that nice sharp line. No, don't do this. Don't do this. unless you've got a white pen, or you want to mix media like paints or something like that. It's not going to work. As you can see there, I checked the back on it. It's like, oh my god, this is like saturated, and the gel pen side is just scratched, absolutely scratched. So I wouldn't recommend it at all, because you're going to ruin your paper. If you've got nothing underneath it and you're doing it in a sketchbook like I am, you're going to scratch the paper behind it, and it's going to make that piece of paper unusable. I wouldn't recommend this. Don't do it. So yeah, I'm like, okay, how do I create a nice straight line? Well, let's take a little bit of inspiration from the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, because that's not spiky. That is almost water-like. It's very wavy. I was like, I wonder if we can add that to the with the normal Super Saiyan Aura and just see how it looks. And I was like, I mean, it's doable. This is how you would do the blue one, obviously without the spiky brush flicks with the Saiyan Aura. Obviously, I write down the colors that I used and how I did it. It's just it didn't work for me. So another cup of tea, I go for a walk, and while I'm walking, I'm mulling it over. How am I going to do this? And it's like, right, okay, let's try and obviously get it centered. It's like, okay, let's sketch it out. Right, sketch it out first, and go over it. I'm using a very light pencil, and just going over it a couple of times with brush flicks, because I'm trying to I'm flicking so I can try and get that gradient. Looking at some other examples of the aura, the inside is very, some of them have they don't have that flick look to it, that flick gradient. Some of them are actually quite what do you call it, they have that harsh line to it, and I was like, it just doesn't work for me. So I grab the trusty blend tool and try and pull in some of that ink, and try and get a nice glow instead. So try and soften up that harsh edge, And yeah, I fail with it. You see, I'm trying to add more ink to it so I can try and get more of it in there, and it just doesn't work. I'm like thinking, tea, cup of tea time again. Third cup of tea. This is all in one day, by the way. So after another cup of tea, I'm like, okay, sketching it out was a good idea. It was, you know, always sketch out. Don't never put your alcohol markers to paper straight away without having some kind of guideline. Unless you're that good. I'm not. You know, I'm just not that good. And some people are very good, and you know, they can make the alcohol marker just dance on paper like a paintbrush. You know, just glides over paper. I can't do that. I have to have some kind of, you know, some kind of guidelines. So I try to sketch out an aura of some sort, and I'm like, oh, okay. I've gone straight up. This is supposed to be wrapping around the body, because I just didn't draw like a skeleton in the middle just for me to sort of go around. I'm like, oh crap, what's up there? So I'm not using my normal pencil here. I'm using I don't know what it is, if I'm honest. No idea. It's a very light lead that I'm using here. So when I do go over it with the alcohol markers, you won't see the pen, you won't see the lead at all. It will slowly fade the more layers I put on it, which, you know, you can get away with. I wouldn't recommend doing it if I'm honest, but you know, I'm just trying to work things out and hopefully pass on my mistakes to you guys so you can be better than me, essentially. So at this point I'm like, okay, I really should have just an outline here, so I've got something to go around. So I grab the 2 yellow pens I used in beforehand and just go over it very straight as much as I can. I'm trying to add a couple of, like, just flick it a little bit, you know, just sort of so it's not completely ruler straight. I don't want it ruler straight. I just want to try and add some movement to it if I can. I go over this a couple of times. I add two to it of the same color, so I think that's a Y2 I'm using there. Like I said, these are the Ohuhu brush markers I'm using, and just trying to get a nice, not too dark of a line, but I want a nice sharp line here if I can. I mean, you can use a ruler if you wanted to, if you really want it super sharp, but I'm trying to do this with just alcohol markers. I'm doing this so if you don't have a ruler, or if you don't have pencils, don't have gel pens, I don't have pencils, so I'm trying to do this more for not just myself, but for those of you out there who think I can't draw this because I don't have X tool, or you know, I'm not entirely sure. So, you know, this one's for you guys. Hopefully this helps you out more than me. So I messed up there a little bit with I should have followed the flow with the aura there, and instead I just went straight across, so it doesn't look too great, but I end up fixing that in a little while. So I'm going over those thick lines with short brush flicks from both the colors, the Y2 and I think it's the Y3 I'm using, and just trying to keep this line as wet as I can so I can blend it, so I get that nice gradient from the inside. So I'm going for a nice sharp outside with a fade on the inside. That is my favorite style of aura. There's loads of different types of auras out there that you can try. You don't necessarily have to mimic what DBZ does, but this is the one that I prefer, and trying to make it work. So I've added 2 layers of the Y2 and Y3, and I've gone in with I think it's the Y2 again, and gone in for some longer flicks, so we get that nice bit more of a faded effect as much as I can. And it didn't quite work out as well as I could, but the paper's still wet. The Winsor & Newton bleed proof paper works very well, keeping the paper wet, and you can work with it pretty. There's a nice time gap with most card paper or sketch paper. It will absorb the ink very quickly, and you're not going to be able to blend it very well. So with the help of the blending clear marker, I was able to soften up those flicks that I put in towards the body, and very overall, I'm very happy with this. It could be better. I can still improve upon this a lot. But say this is all done in one day and I'm still learning. So yeah. It's the whole point of these drawing series that I'm doing. Just to learn and hopefully, you know, pass it on to you guys and we can, you know, help each other out, I guess, in a sense. So yeah, I'm jotting down some notes here. These notes are personally just for me. So because I forget what I do when I create stuff. I'm just like, oh god, how did I do that? I don't know. So many times I look at my drawings like, how did I do that? No idea. So yeah, just jotting down some notes for myself, so for a later reference. But the whole point of the auras, learning auras, not just to get the shape right, but to make them work with backgrounds as well. Like I said at the start of the video, some auras are transparent, and some of them, like the God transformations and a few selected Super Saiyan transformations, the aura within the inner aura is white. Which makes sense because, you know, the whole point of Super Saiyan is it's energy, isn't it? So no different to a light bulb, I guess, in a sense. You know, look at Yakon. He liked eating light sources, hence why he was trying to eat Goku's light source. So if you wanted to just do a white inner aura glow, which obviously would be the easiest one to pull off, by all means, go for it. There's no harm in doing that. You can, and then put your background around the aura, and which would be the easiest to do. One I would recommend for those of you who are still trying to, you know, get the auras right with just using alcohol markers. So I tried different. I'm doing different colors just to see how well they are going to cover up the yellow. So if I do any mistakes, we've got a couple of colors that you may have seen within the Dragon Ball anime, or some planets that you may want to possibly do. And I just wanted to see how each of them would hopefully clear up the lines. Because obviously I'm not perfect at this, you know. So my lines aren't super sharp and whatnot, but by adding a background to the outside of it, you can tidy up those lines a little bit with obviously dark colors, and the gray and the purple work really well over that. The blue not so much, because obviously they're both a light color and they will. But then I move on to, okay, let's see if we can get some examples of the inner glow. So I leave the bottom part of the aura just white, so you can see, you know, this is what it would look like if it was white, and here's what it would look like with different shades, like sky color, different sky colors essentially. So I start off doing flicks from the aura to the inside, and when I get up to the purple, I change because I noticed something. You probably noticed it already. With the blue, or you know, starting on in the yellow and then coming out from it. Yes, that does help drag the color. If it's still wet, it will drag some of the color and hopefully give you a bit more of a faded effect. But if you've done what I've done here and used a darker color going inwards, obviously it's going to cover it up, isn't it? But you'll notice in just a moment, the paint sort of drops what I've done. I'm like, hold on. And it's just coming up. There we go. There we go. I'm like, oh, this works better. So the eagle-eye viewers there will notice that once I did sort of the outline for, you know, the skeleton there, I'm like, oh, okay, this gives you a much better effect, much softer, because you can start off hard. Or it's like if you do a barrier of ink around a character, so you create a block character and then use that same color just to flick into the aura, it gives you a much softer effect than, you know, starting in the aura and then coming out. So I would highly recommend that you go for that approach. Flick towards the aura so you get that thick to thin layer of ink, and it may create a much softer effect, as you can clearly see there. But my favorite out of all of them is just leaving it white. You can do that, it's fine. So yeah, ladies and gents, that was how to create Saiyan Aura with just alcohol markers. It's not perfect, obviously. You're going to get a much better effect if you've got pencils, because actually you can mixed media and get some really nice lines in that. And some pencils can be, you know, you can erase them so you get the second chance and things like that, and they're not going to bleed. Whereas with alcohol markers, you've got to treat them with care, and they work like watercolors. You know, you get too close to each other, they will bleed into each other, and you know, once that happens, it does create a bit of a mess. So you're not going to get those sharp lines, and unless you take your time, let your lines dry out, and then, you know, add those sharp lines next to them. But you know, it's trial and error. See what works for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've got any tips and tricks on how to create Saiyan Aura without pencils and just using alcohol markers, hey, hit me up. Put comments down below and yeah, teach me a thing or two. But this is for beginners anyway, so hopefully you guys have been able to take something away from this, and I'll catch you guys next time. Happy Saiyan Aura drawing. I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.